Diddly-o, diddle up and down, diddly-o, diddle up and down, diddly-o, diddle up and down, diddly-o, diddle lay down, diddly-o, diddle up and down, diddly-o.
All right, good morning. Part 2 is on the way today. Took a day off, had some family relaxing to do, but here we go. Couple dots ahead after. We are going to be using 2-inch foam insulation for regards of what I'm building here. I wouldn't use like the soft pink insulation. If it gets damp, which may happen if you have trouble with your blow off, any happy homebrew accidents, that kind of stuff is hard to dry out and you will have to replace it. The foam insulation, which I chose because I have it here, state of renovations, I had some left over. It's meant for outdoor application in some cases, like you'll cover it with your siding, so water will roll right off it. So it's easy cleanup, shouldn't have to replace it, one-time job, done. I also thought after, something I forgot in my planning, because this is all sort of just happening as I go, try to figure stuff out. I have this fancy shag carpet in this room I'm doing my project in. Think about the flooring that in the area that you're planning on doing this build. You could have, which I never, built a little platform, laid a fridge on it, and did all your seal around this platform. So it's all one easy peasy cleanup area. It's a lot of extra work, can be done, probably should be done, but you can get away without doing it. For me, thinking about possible happy homebrew accidents, blow-offs, etc., I'm going to try to find some means of covering it so it's at least maybe just a little wipe-up job if I have any issues, and it's not just a big mess on old carpet. So what I'm going to do, because I haven't got any extra pieces of canvas, or even, I don't know if you've seen this clear plastic you can get and put over top of carpets. Maybe you've seen it at your grandmother's house ages ago, which is where I remember it from. It's just clear plastic rolls you can get and put over it. One of those things would be great too. You can usually get that kind of stuff at Walmart, anywhere. But anyways, what I'm going to do, I have paneling left over, the same piece of panel board, one piece, and I'm going to cut a piece that will fit pretty well snug into the floor of my fermentation chamber. The top is still off. I'm going to do this before I do the blue insulation, just so that the pieces that come down on the walls will be underneath, and it just looks a little bit better and should hopefully catch any issues I may have. So that's the plans for today. Hoping to knock this thing off. So what we have on the go on this particular video, we're going to have the blue insulation install a partial floor, just anything you can think of that might be easier to clean up than what's currently there for you, and wiring, the exciting stuff. Oop, didn't mean to do that to you guys. All right, so see you guys soon. All right, see how this goes. All right, you're really gonna have to excuse the mess in here. This is my workshop, a lot of projects, and yeah. All right, the blue insulation is a great idea for this, but there's one thing you got to keep an eye on. When you're doing your measurements, if you choose to do it this way, there's other ways of going about it. There's a little, let's see if I can get a picture of this. There's a little lip on this. And really the best thing to do for regards of our application is to cut that lip off. You can use a utility knife. I was debating even using a drywall saw, but I actually have a jigsaw here. If you don't, just make something work. Cut that lip off and do all your measurements tight from that. And yeah, moving right along. I have a floor in, show you a picture in a bit, and let's see how this goes. Great, trying to make this as honest as I can. Yeah, so job sites are messy. All right, you should probably clean up as you go. I'm more of I only got so much time, so let's do this kind of guy. Anyway, jigsaw is working amazing. If you end up going with the blue insulation, highly recommend it. Wish I thought about it when I was working on the outside of my house. But anyway, First couple are in, and things are going well. The floor is down. It's better to do this at the start, as I said. And where I had extra panel board, I just used pieces I had and did layers. So that's how I'm doing it. I know you could probably just get a nice little piece of canvas. A lot of hardware stores have ends of canvas and stuff. Another great option. Probably look better. This is going to be just a purpose, as I said. My blue insulation is going in great. If you do your measurements, measure like 3 times and cut once with the jigsaw. What was I going to say? Yeah. Old houses and well, new houses too, floors can be off a bit. Like some of your measurements may be off by 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, etc. So just take your time and just don't worry if you screw up. It'll work somewhere else. But mine are going in pretty good. I was going to actually screw this in and cock it, but it's an extra step that I don't need to do. The blue insulation's holding really well into the openings, and this should never ever move again. So I will keep you posted on future, but all I'm going to do now is just cut more pieces. Right now I'm on the door. Yeah, so cut more pieces, install that, and then we are on to electrical. Alright, so I may pick up after I get all the installation done. Alright, bye. Alright, my head is hurting. I don't like electrical. Before I got too far ahead, here we go. Here's what happened after. I don't know if you can see inside there. It's starting to look a lot cleaner on the inside. Outside still the same old paneling, but it is just basically window dressing, I guess. Like it's just something to have the outside covered. Inside it's going to be totally enclosed. I got the top left off so I can work on all this. Here's the piece that I have cut already for the top, so it's all ready to go. Moving on. Our particular controller, this was provided to me by the great people at Inkbird. Thank you so much for that. And I am not a rep. I am just a regular old Joe trying to make some homebrew stuff. So our application is for a fermentation chamber. This comes with, I'll show you now. It had 2 little clips along the edge. I removed those. You just lift up either end, whichever way you decide to move them. I decided to take them off because I am going to be cutting a hole around here somewhere, probably in close to the fridge, so I can mount my heat lamp out here so it's even temperature. So our application is going to be heating and cooling. I hope this works, because I'm not a pro, as I said. But on the back here, you'll see a fancy little wiring diagram. And initially, before I started looking into it, I was wrong when I was looking into it. I figured you just cut the wires from whatever device, plug it right in, go for it. No, you're wrong, Liz. So what we have here is basically it interrupts a circuit. You get your power going straight direct. So however you plan on powering the device, you need to find a cord somewhere. And it goes into terminals 1 and 2 over on this side. That would be your white and black or white and red. Green is always ground. And this particular device doesn't offer grounding. So there might be ways of you doing it. If there are smarter people out there than me, which I know there are, please feel free, chime in. But what I had was an old 3-prong power cord that I found here in my little hardware store, I call it, my workshop. And it was quite long. So this is not plugged in right now. This is just me figuring things out. So I cut off the wire to length, and I'm going to be taking out the white and the black wire, and those will be going to terminals 1 and 2. That's pretty well it for regards to that. Now my fancy diagram here, the FRIDG right there, if you can't read it and it's backwards, that's the fridge. So there's a cord coming from your fridge. That's the way we're looking at this right now. And you need to interrupt one wire or the other. We're going to say interrupt the black wire on all devices you're dealing with. So what I did was, well, first I did it wrong because I have an older fridge I picked up from the classifieds, as I said. It's kind of hard getting the sheathing off. So the little bit of white tape right here, I actually cut the ground. Not good. So I removed it safely, and I got a marionette, and I marionetted it, and I taped it, and it should be there forever. Totally safe. But regard to this old fridge, there's no sheathing on the actual power. So what it is just basically just they put a rubber coating over this. I hope you can see this. I'm trying to keep it steady. So I had to carefully remove the wire as best I could, and that's what we're interrupting. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I have this cord here. I hope you can see that. There you go, yeah. So that cord there is what's going to be powering the whole system. That's going to be plugged into my power bar, going to the back. I'm going to put it in through the top and just seal it after it's all done. And that's going to be our power. I have remaining cord, so if you have a long power cord that you're using, you can use the same idea. I have right here, and I cut off the ground where it's not going to be used. And this here will be your circuit that's going to be powered by the controller. So as I said, this is electrical hurts my head. I'm trying to do my best here. It doesn't really matter what side connects to what on the black that you exposed on your particular cooling or heating device. It just matters that these two here go to the back of your controller, and the switch will turn itself on and off and provide power through these cords. So wish you all the best of luck. It's the same idea for your heating. Your cooling system, whatever cooling system that ends up being, will go on terminals 7 and 8. For my particular controller, most of these work in the same manner, I think. And for my heating lamp, which you can use like a brew cord or a brew belt or little ceramic heater, anything that's going to be safe, you do the same idea. Like you'll expose the black wire on that particular device, and you're going to interrupt the power going to the back of the controller. So, best of luck. I will show you a video after this is completed and just let you know if there are any troubles, okay? I'll probably show you the first fire up as well. All right. Warren went, okay. Sorry, I have a house full of girls. Yeah. So, I gave you wrong information at the first part of this. So, just to show you that diagram, I was telling you that your heating goes to 7 and 8, or 5 and 6, and that your fridge was going to go to 7 and 8. It's actually the other way around. It's just a little mind slip, and I try to be honest and keep things going, but I caught the mistake, and just make sure you just take your time. So yeah, your heating's going to go to 7 and 8, and your cooling is going to go to 5 and 6, whatever that may be. So as I said, whatever you're dealing with for regards of your heating and cooling sources, just make sure that you separate the wires. Like, make sure you have good distance between any chance of possible short circuiting, because that's your main safety concern. Everything's working fine for me. So yes, here's the controller in operation. We have heating on now, and this thing is awesome. You can actually set it to within 0.1 of a degree Celsius or whatever you wish. I can maybe do up another video later, but there's some great videos online of other people operating with this. But my main concern was building this particular chamber, I guess cabinet. I'm going to clean it up, obviously, for myself as I go. And the top's not screwed down yet, but that's only minor. You don't need to see that. So here's where I decided to mount my controller. Right there. I tested everything. Fridge is off. Heat's off. No sparks. We are good. I mounted my ceramic heater like that. because it's out to the side of my opening for any fermenters I want to put in, and it should be in a position where it's not going to be too close. It is as well not too close to the roof of this thing. I'm going to make sure I watch it over time to ensure there's not going to be any issues. Like right now there's heat coming out of this, and the way this thing is cased in all the way around with that nice 2-inch blue insulation, I think this is going to work just fine. Main thing I got to worry about now is just tidying up wires. That's just for my own personal preference, but right now I can use this and go. You want to see if the temperature probe is working? Just watch. Hold on to my little fingers. This thing should climb. So here we go. And yeah, that temperature is right. It's cold here in my basement. Won't be in this particular tiny little box, but it should be pretty cost efficient for running this thing. Any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm that guy. Love helping out people if I can, and I hope this did actually help somebody out there. Watch out for the next video. I think next time I might be doing a couple mods for a Victoria mill. Got a grain mill, yay! And brew day coming up the next few days. Alright guys, bye.